Thank you. Assembly Member Garratt, please.
Hello, Commissioner. I'd like to reprise our conversation about bus safety, if I may. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the apology that TfL issued earlier in the week about the misinformation that had been circulated about Melissa Burr, and acknowledging now correctly that she had done nothing wrong and was in the correct place on the crossing at Victoria. But in your most recent Commissioner report to the TfL board, you reflected on the changes that have been made subsequently at Victoria Bus Station, and you wrote, we completed improvements at Victoria Bus Station in December 2023 and continue to review pedestrian data in this location given development in the area. What you didn't mention was that subsequent to those changes, of course, literally weeks later, Kathleen Finnegan was killed in very similar circumstances in the same place, and then in May this year, another woman was seriously injured at Victoria Bus Station. They're obviously relevant to those works that have taken place, but they're not mentioned. Can you see that it looks a bit like, patting yourself on the back for doing a great thing and, downplaying what are obviously still very serious problems there?
So firstly, I'd like to reiterate the apology that was made at our Safety, Sustainability and HR panel to Melissa Burr's family. I am in direct contact with Melissa's mother as well, and also to apologise to the Finnegan family for the communication or lack of, which I won't go into in detail. Far from it. Am I patting ourselves on the back? Bus safety across our transport network is absolutely our first priority. The circumstances of those tragic incidents are slightly different, and the locations of them are slightly different. Any fatality or loss is absolutely tragic and should not happen. We will continue to review. We are waiting for the MPS to complete the investigation into the two most recent incidents. The second one referred to actually happened away from the bus station and not in the bus station itself, but nonetheless led to a very significant life-changing injury to the pedestrian. We are continuing to focus on what we need to do around bus station safety and bus safety. Whilst those fatalities are too many fatalities, the overall number of fatalities on the bus network has continued to reduce year on year. We have reviewed our bus stations across the network, and we are putting some improvements in place in a number of those locations. The most significant one obviously being Walthamstow, which is where temporary works are being done already. Permanent works will be done by the end of the year, and Kingston Cromwell Road, where the whole bus station is currently being rebuilt and should be open at the end of October.
Okay. So in August 2021, when Melissa Burr was killed, was Victoria Bus Station compliant then with health and safety law?
So you'll be aware, I unfortunately wasn't in position at the time then, but following Melissa's tragic death, the Health and Safety Executive put a number of requirements on us to change the layout of the station. Those improvements were the ones that were carried out at the end of 2023, and we believe the bus station is now compliant with Health and Safety, the Health and Safety Executive's latest standards.
So is that a no for August 2021? Because you're saying it is now, but my question was it then?
Well, clearly the Health and Safety Executive required us to make a number of improvements following Melissa's tragic death. We have actioned on those improvements.
Okay, and you mentioned already that there's now a wider programme going on across many bus stations. I don't want to perhaps go through all of those, but I'm pleased to see that that's happening, because clearly it is a situation in bus garages or bus stations where there seem to be a disproportionate number of problems. Zooming out from that individual scenario and thinking more broadly, if fatal bus crashes, if they instead were on the railway or the tram or on an aircraft or on the sea, there will be an independent investigation from the RAIB, MAIB and so on, and then a published public report explaining what they found, what the problems were, what recommendations they'd made. That doesn't always seem to happen. In fact, it rarely seems to happen with buses. Do you think it would be an improvement if there were, every time a fatal bus crash happened, there were such a report?
Well, as you know, I've spent 30 years in aviation, and I think it's been a very effective industry in terms of driving safety. The UK was the lead country in terms of how it investigated air accidents. The Rail Accident Investigation Board does the same for rail. There is no such body that does that for road fatalities, so it is down to the Metropolitan Police in London, who are independent. They are the ones responsible for conducting the independent investigation and determining if there are any criminal or prosecutions to be made. We also undertake our investigation. I would welcome the Department for Transport looking at how some form of independent body could undertake similar reviews in the way the RAIB and the AIB do.
But so there are investigations that happen now, but there's no published set of findings. So TfL could publish its findings routinely whenever there's a fatality. You could commit to me now, whenever TfL investigates a fatal bus accident, they would publish a report.
I'm happy to take that way and look at it. We certainly make information available to our safety panel. I'm happy to do that.
But I think in 2017 the Assembly recommended that you do that. So that was 7 years ago. And so no progress has been made in those 7 years on that kind of report.
Well, I'd have to take that away, Senator Garratt. Obviously, I wasn't here.
Well, presumably you know if TfL publishes a report when somebody dies or is killed by a bus.
Well, we publish the reports to our board safety panel, so they are aware. I will look to see what more we need to do in terms of publishing it. We always make it clear what are the actions that need to be taken following any fatal road collision. Bear in mind, not all, or whilst our Vision Zero is across all London's roads, we are not responsible for all London's roads, but we are taking that challenge to ensure there are no fatalities and no serious injuries across the road and bus network by 2041. So I'm happy to take that away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.